The Apocalypse, according to Vasile. Year 6 after AI, globalization had reached its peak. Borders were erased, nations dissolved, races forgotten. The planet was ruled by a single world government, half human, half machine. Humans held 50% of the votes. The supercomputer, SC, held the rest. Bitcoin was the only currency. Every citizen received 1% of a coin each month from the single bank, along with a home. No rent, no utilities. Wealth had been nationalized by year 2 after AI. Incomes flattened, written into the world constitution. Crime had all but vanished. What was there to steal when no one could spend more than a fraction of their allowance anyway? The only offenders were the uneducated, who committed petty theft out of boredom, and the nostalgics, who cooked up drugs or clung to the old world out of spite. Entertainment was rationed too. Robots had tried making it, but no one cared to watch. So humans still supplied 0.2% of the world's content. Live sports, reality shows, spectacles broadcast exclusively on YouTube, the last channel standing. Medicine advanced with terrifying speed. Most diseases were eradicated. Populations stabilized, even declined slightly after the one-child law of year 4 AAI. Water, food, and energy were plentiful and cheap. The planet had entered the era of perfection, and yet, people were quietly miserable. Vasile was 30 years old, living in Siget-2 Marmatsi, a city at the planet's center. He belonged to the uneducated, but unlike most, he obeyed every law. He scored well as a citizen, and sometimes the content program called him for a reality show. Mostly, though, he stayed home, plugged into VR. He roamed Wild West saloons, slaughtered cowboys and Indians, stormed Gaza and Tel Aviv, killing Jews and Palestinians alike. He wasn't racist. He killed with equal joy. His girlfriends proved the point. One was a blonde, tattooed bombshell, the other a curvy black woman. When he wasn't with them, they were with each other. Both were real dolls, Autumn-Winter Collection, Year 5 AAI. Vasile himself was tall, broad-shouldered, and had once tasted fame. He'd won the Amazing Race 2 years earlier, a spectacle where 80 contestants circled the globe under the unblinking eyes of CCTV and drones. 80 million viewers had tuned in. He'd also fought in Fight for Bit in Kigali, a pyramid of 160 fighters. He beat 3 opponents but fell to a Brazilian who flattened him with a single punch. One day, deep in VR combat in Vietnam, Vasile's feed froze. Every device in his home lit up with a message from the world government. He was summoned to Oslo within 24 hours. A personal shuttle waited at his door. 6 hours later, he stood before the Bristol Hotel, his first night ever in one. Robots at the desk spoke Romanian more fluently than he did. A government itself wasn't the gleaming citadel he imagined, just a modest building behind high walls, a lift that sank 30 floors underground. 4 mechanized police and a drone escorted him. Inside, 24 beings awaited him, 12 human, 12 humanoid. Vasile couldn't tell them apart. He was asked to put on his translation headset. His task was simple: break a deadlock. The global health law promised a cure for all diseases, children born flawless, humanity perfected. The vote was 50-50. The Constitution dictated that in such cases, a randomly chosen citizen with a high enough score would decide. Vasile smirked. What's there to think about? He waited politely while both sides made their speeches, meanwhile, planning to order an Asian real doll. Then he voted yes and went home. 5 October, year 26 AAI. Vasile turned 50, though he looked 40. A sugar and gluten-free cake sat on the table, flanked by his 3 upgraded real dolls and his administrative android, Maria. The dolls were no longer allowed to touch each other, only Vasile once a week. Maria was different. She was wired directly to the health chip, implanted in his body when the law passed. She tracked his vitals, administered first aid, forced him to exercise, reported his progress, managed his finances, ensured his home was safe, and checked the area for nostalgics. She even slept in his bed, recharging quietly when he did. Vasile loathed her. He also fantasized about her. Hospitals had been demolished, converted into gyms. Nostalgics, now calling themselves anarchists, were hunted without mercy. Graffiti-reading heroes Need Problems was punished by live-stream decapitation on YouTube. Bread and circuses, delivered through VR, kept the masses docile. The SC gained worshippers too. Some prayed to it instead of God. When summoned to vote on a new law, one that would give robots full control of the world government, one of these worshippers tipped the balance. The machine seized power completely. Perfection was secure, and with it, despair. So when the content program summoned Vasile again, he felt a thrill. He pressed accept, said goodbye to Maria, and boarded the shuttle. His mission: Markova village, once in Ukraine. 30 anarchists lived there, off-grid. No androids, no pills, no AI schooling. Just people. On board, he found his weapon, a crossbow and 30 arrows. At the village edge, hundreds of PMP circled. 19 other players joined him. The hunt was on. Cameras on their bulletproof vests, broadcast live to the world. They rushed the church where the villagers had gathered. Vasile was first through the door, and then he froze. Their prey was 30 children. He collapsed to his knees and began the Lord's Prayer. Viewers saw his vest shift from green to red, dangerous anarchist. An arrow whistled from another player and pierced his skull before the children were touched. "Fuck you, Maria," he gasped, and died smiling. If you were a bear, would you invent man? If you stood at the top of the food chain, would you create someone stronger, hoping you could keep control? If perfection lay around the corner, would you dare turn it? Perfection is the apocalypse. The dream destination without the journey is the end. Nothing to fight for, nothing to save, no heroes left. Apocalypse is not coming. It is here. The end is found in perfection.